Hey guys, it's Jessie and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another update to my Pan Those Eyeshadow series. So if you guys are unfamiliar, I will link the playlist up here so you can check it out. But I've been doing this project forever on my channel and this is probably one of my favourites. It's basically an eyeshadow panning project, very popular here on YouTube, but you'll basically randomly generate a certain number of eyeshadows to focus on and try and hit pan. Or for me, in my case, I also have a 20 use goal. It used to be 30, but I do have a lot of other eyeshadow projects that I'm doing or panning projects that have eyeshadows in them. I will just give a disclaimer, sorry if I sound a bit funny, I've got a cold, it's kind of fresh as flu, I can't really hear properly and I sound croaky, but I really wanted to get this update up for you guys because it is very delayed. But yeah, without further ado, I will just get into the update. So I am firstly going to go through the cream or lid setting shade that I work on. So I always set my lids every day when I do my makeup, so I wanted to work on a lid setting shade every month. I'm going from my newest palettes back to my oldest because I feel like they don't often get the love that they deserve because I'm always working on panning things before they get used up. But we were working on the shade Lo-Fi from my Kaleidos Escape Pod palette, and here is what it is looking like now. So as you can see, we have got a little baby pan in here, which is very exciting. I used this one 7 times this month for 23 uses total before we hit pan, so that was always great. I was very pleased about that. So then in its place, to replace it, I have a new palette here, which is the Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy. This is my newest palette in my collection, and I rolled in the shade Atmosphere, which is just this white shade at the top here. I don't know how well you can see, there are some brush marks in there, a little dip, no pan yet, but it's a Beauty Bay shade, so I don't expect it will take too long. I've used this one 6 times so far, and that is where we are at. So we have a decent amount of progress. I'm expecting probably no more than 20 uses and then we should hit pan in there, which is obviously very exciting. So then moving on to the actual shades, to be honest, we don't have very much progress in here just because I've been kind of all over the place the past few weeks, but we do have a rollout, which is obviously exciting. So I'll go through the ones with not very much progress at all. Firstly, we've got my shade Dreamer from my News of New York palette. I only use this one once this month. I'll put in the progress pictures obviously so you can see, but this is what we are looking like. Here is the shade here. So we have got a good dip in there. I've used this one time this month, as I mentioned, for 8 uses total. I had it in a project before, that's why it's got such a big dip. But yeah, whenever I do use this, I do have to put a topper shade on top just because it's not super bright. But overall, I am slowly making my way through this. 12 uses left. I don't know if we'll do that next month, I don't think so, but hopefully we'll just kind of slowly chip away at that. Then we've got the shade Dahlia from my own Alba palette. This is a stunning shade, and again, unfortunately I've only used this one once this month. It is this purple shade just here, and I don't know how well you can see, but there is a small dip in there. It's a very flaky shade, so I do just have to kind of tap my finger in. I've used this one 7 times in total this project, so yeah, getting a little bit of use on there. I'm wearing it on the kind of outer half of my lids today. My makeup is a little bit worn because I have been wearing it all day, but overall I do really like the shade. I think it's so pretty. Then we've got the shade Abyss from my Lime Crime Prelude palette. One of you guys mentioned last month about using it in the outer corner in kind of like a rose gold look, and I did that and it was absolutely stunning. I was really unsure about how I was going to use this, but as a deepening shade it works super well. Unfortunately I haven't used it 3 times this month, but every time I did use it in that way. Here is what it's looking like now. You can, I guess, kind of see some brush marks, but really not too much in there. Just this shade here, really not too much progress, but I don't think that'll be too hard to use up. I might even be able to use it up next month. Hit 17 uses, maybe that's a bit high, but hopefully have a decent amount of uses for next month. And then lastly we have my Carly Bybel palette. I had 2 shades in here in this project. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Aura, which is this one down here. I've used this one just once this month again, and I did roll it in last month, so it's 1 use total in the project. Not too much progress in there, but it is a very pretty shade. I used it basically how I used Dahlia in this look, with my Vision shade from Beauty Bay on the first part of my eye. And then we have the shade that's rolling out, which is the shade Boy, again from the same palette, so that is this shade here. You can see some brush marks in there. I ended up using it in my brows and it did look really nice. I used this one 9 times this month for 20 uses total. So it is going to be rolling out, which is obviously very exciting. I don't really like doing these updates if I don't have something to roll out. I normally just roll in something anyway if I haven't got something to show. But yeah, very happy to have something rolling in. So I do have some changes in my numbers this month. Obviously I did hit, I think I hit a pan in my lo-fi shade, and I hit some pans in my pan that palette, stuff like that. But I did also buy a new palette. Obviously I bought the Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. So I actually haven't worked this out, so let me get a calculator. My total shades is now 840, and 53 of those have pan. So 53 divided by 800 and is going to give me a pan percentage of 6.6%, which is very exciting because that is the highest that it has been in the project so far, including the end of last year we were at 6.5%. So even though we have added a new palette, I am absolutely buzzing that we have hit pan in enough stuff to bring us up to 6.6%. Hopefully I'm not going to be getting any new palettes soon. Obviously I can't control if I get tempted by things, but fingers crossed we will stay kind of around the maybe 7% mark by the end of the year. So things are going to be a little bit different this month. If you didn't watch my last video, then you won't know that I've moved up to uni. Hopefully you probably would be able to tell by the background, but basically I did not bring every single one of my palettes, so my spreadsheet isn't completely accurate. I've got a list of every palette that I have. So what I'm going to do is randomly generate a palette from all of the palettes that I have with me now, and then secondly randomly generate a shade from there afterwards. So instead of randomly generating the shade altogether, I'm just going to be randomly generating the palette and then the shade, if that makes sense. So everything's still randomly generated, just ever so slightly in a different way. So I'm going to get up my random number generator app and put in my minimum maximum. So I have all my makeup products listed for a different project. So my eyeshadows in this spreadsheet go from 90 down to 125. So we have minimized a bit. I've only got 35 palettes with me and I left I think about 20 at home. I'm not too sure. Anyway, we are going to be randomly generating one number to replace boy, and that is going to be number 118. So that is going to be a newer palette-ish to me, which is going to be my Charlotte Tilbury Walk of No Shame little mini palette, which is exciting. The reason I say this is exciting is because I literally have not used this palette, which is very bad. I got it as a gift from Reagan quite a few months ago, but then I went traveling and I had other palettes to focus on in projects, and then I got new stuff and I, to be honest, kind of forgot about it. But this is the little Walk of No Shame quad. Very, very pretty, really gorgeous, kind of reddy tones. I will just see what I generate. I think if I generate this one, I might have to swatch it out in comparison to my shade from my Maybelline News of New York palette, because they are kind of similar. I don't know how well you can see. They're kind of similar. I'll swatch them in comparison, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm going to do numbers 1 to 4 and randomly generate it now. Oh, it's not going. Okay, go again. Randomly generate it now, and that is 4. So that's going to be the darkest shade here, which is this kind of reddish shade here. So I'm going to swatch that out now. So that is what that shade looks like there. So it's definitely a matte, but it's not like completely flat matte. It's definitely got some shimmer or sheen running through it. But overall, I think I will probably use that in the outer corner to kind of like deepen up a look. So yeah, you can see there it's got a little bit of shimmer running through it, but not enough to kind of make it a lid shade for me. So now I'm going to just swatch out in comparison to the other shades, just so we can get a good look for the color story. So that is the current color story that we are working with. I've got very shimmery fingers now, but you can just see there we've got Abyss from the Lime Crime Prelude palette. I didn't actually check what colour the shade we just rolled in. It's just shade 3 Smoke. So we've got Abyss from the Lime Crime palette. We've got shade 3 from the Walk of No Shame. We've got Aura. Why is this not in focus? We've got Aura from the Carly Bybel palette. We've got that shade from the Maybelline Nudes of New York palette. It doesn't have a name. And then Dahlia from the Own's Eye palette. So definitely a very kind of like rosy, rose gold colour story. Luckily all these shades do really work really well together. So I definitely could have this in kind of the outer corner with any of these on the lid. Same with this one, deepening up a different shade. So yeah, overall I think I will get some good looks in this month, and hopefully goals for next month, I will say maybe to get to at least 15 uses on this one, get a decent amount of use on this one, or are hoping to use, and these ones just kind of use at least 5 times, and then if we don't roll one out I will just be rolling in a new shade. Obviously we've also got my white shade from here that I'm hoping to pan. But yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like down below, and don't forget to hit subscribe, turn the bell to a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. If you want to watch my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen now to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!